But I tell you what, I definitely knock him out.
You take him up there?
Oh, man, I take 4. 100%. 100%. In my eyes, technically good. He's been coached well.
Did you say you could knock him out? Is that what you said there?
This interviewer's like not even paying attention. He said I'd knock him out like 20 seconds ago, and then he said like 5 other things, and then the interviewer's like,
what? What the did you just did you just say you knock him out? Like, can you repeat yourself? I literally was sleeping while I was holding the mic.
What's up guys, Derek, moreplates.com. We're gonna be talking about the Thor versus Eddie Hall fight that just happened. So most notable in, like, I don't know, going round by round, it looked like Eddie Hall was, doing pretty decent, although a lot of people are going to critique, the lack of boxing acumen and, preparation. Like, Thor actually looked like, he was boxing. He had a normal looking technique, had his guard up. He wasn't exposing himself. He wasn't doing this weird fucking, I don't even know how you describe it, whatever Eddie was doing, where he's kind of crouching down and cowering away to not get hit with a long jab, but at the same time he's literally powering up a fucking skinhead hay to come over the top and try and knock him out. It looks like the entire fight he's powering up his fucking hay the whole time. It was I forget, I saw one of the comments, it was a joke as if it was a video game. It was when do you think only the Y button works in your controller or some shit. It's normally you'd have a jab, you'd have a power punch or whatever if you're playing a video game, and it was the entire fight he kind of just had his left hand out a little bit as a lot of it at the time it wasn't even up. He was just kind of fucking standing there with his face exposed and throwing wild goddamn energy sapping haze from fucking, left field, Hail Mary haze, trying to go for a KO essentially. Seemingly, of course, I'm just talking out of my ass, I don't actually know the shit, but I mean, to me, it just, that's what I perceived watching it. He was going for a, Showtime real KO, and just trying to get the most dramatic finish possible, and didn't have the kind of technical little jabs in there that Thor had, the ability to kind of keep the distance and pick his shots well and accurately, and kind of piece apart his opponent. He was kind of just going in there and trying to inch his way closer with somehow blocking his head but not blocking his head at the same time, and then just fucking trying to light you up at the same time. And what it did show though is they are pretty fucking athletic for their size. Of course they did lose, I know Thor lost 110, 120 pounds recently. Eddie presumably has lost, that much as well, or something in that ballpark. And there was some pretty good head movement in some of the rounds by Eddie, and Thor, they obviously did a decent amount of training, I would think. I would say Thor a lot more so than Eddie, or Eddie just didn't internalize it like Thor did, or I don't know. I would think it seemed like Thor had a lot more practice and was a lot more prepared at the end of the day. But Eddie's pretty fucking athletic, and it's pretty apparent why these guys were top tier strongmen as well, very genetically blessed individuals who, ultimately they have, barely boxed at all. But I mean, it was a pretty, decent fight, I would say, for guys who are Titan size to not be just boring as hell after round 2. Because I was expecting them to gas, they gas obviously, but not as hard and as quick as I thought they would. So, it was interesting to say the least. There was, in the first couple rounds, you had Eddie Hall come in and seemingly get a knockdown, a couple knockdowns before Thor got any really significant blows in. This one, I think it was in right at the start of round 2.
But that will come when fatigue sets in. Round 2. Oh, big punch there. That's a knockdown. The ropes kept him up. That's technically a knockdown. So you don't have to hit the camera.
So the thing though is even though there was 2, knockdowns seemingly from Eddie, it doesn't seem like Thor was fazed by that. It seemed more like he lost his balance, at least, from what I perceived. He was right back in there ready to go, and he kind of just stumbled backwards into the ropes. And then on the second one, it looked kind of Eddie kind of like threw him down essentially.
Starting to push his punches, starting to go. Good shot. He felt that. He felt that. Oh! I was called there a push. A push. Called there a push.
So like he looks fine there again, but it's like, you know, the perception of you just see this, you know, behemoth of a human fall and you just assume like, oh, he definitely got cracked and, you know, he got knocked down. And it was sort of like seemingly in Eddie's favor at this point in the first couple rounds. But then Thor starts to actually have the boxing skill accrual kind of like come in and really shine through the later rounds where Eddie starts to gas a bit more because he's kind of like a wild, you know, during the first round with like any sort of like heavyweight contender, you have like scary fucking shit going on where it's like, if you accidentally get cracked, like you're like dead essentially. So you can imagine that what I would assume is Thor is, you know, being a bit more careful in the first couple rounds until he has the ability to then slowly pick apart Eddie and get more like, you know, pick more intelligent shots to get in with lower risk and a bigger ROI on the payoff for it. Because at the start there was like just like really aggressive, like wild shit being thrown. And it's like if you accidentally get smoked by one of those shots from Eddie, like you're fucked. So round 3, 4, 5, you know, Thor really started to, you know, pull away. And he had his first knockdown in, what round was it? I think it was round 3. Oh, he was right at the end of round 3, I believe.
Nearly halfway through. Oh, big punch there from Thor.
So like that was actually, like from what I saw, like an actual damaging blow, whereas the ones that Thor experienced were more like falling off balance or I'm getting fucking thrown, you know, across the ringer sort of thing. This was like a legitimate fucking headshot that definitely dazed the hell out of him. And he got up pretty quick, and kudos to him. Eddie did, you know, better than I think. I don't know if he did better than people would have expected, but I mean, in the first couple rounds, like again, he was definitely holding his own, if not, you know, perceivably, you know, winning to some people, I guess, you know, depending on if what you think those knockdowns really were. But, you know, I think this is where the tides like really are obviously turning and Thor started to pull ahead and he had another knockdown. Shortly thereafter, this was the start of, what was it? Or no, it wasn't shortly thereafter. It was closer to the end of round 5, I believe. Or round 6, sorry.
Oh, big shot there.
So he cracked him again. That one was kind of like side of the head, or I guess back of the head technically.
Woo! Straight up though. Too up too early. Too early. You got to take the count. You got the counter. You got to take the knee. He looks recovered, to be fair, but his legs are going to be unsteady. His mind's still going to be scrambled. And this is where you need to learn defense. Hands high, elbows tucked in.
Yeah, and like later in the 5th and 6th round, it seemed more like this like interesting stance was being adopted where he was kind of like being more conservative to like protect his face, but at the same time, like just not putting up his hands. He was just getting more bent over and I don't know, like I don't really know how to critique it, to be honest, because it was just like a very odd style that Eddie had, but I don't know if this is what he had in mind to, you know, get around some of the, I don't know, the limb length of fucking Thor or like what the plan really was. But at the end of the day, it was an entertaining fight. And, you know, throughout the fight, you could see they didn't do too many pans to the audience or anything like that. But what they did do is they showed Martyn Ford at intermittently throughout the fight, watching intently, presumably in this, I don't know, like VIP section, looking like a goddamn mafia boss, just chilling here with his fancy little watch and dress shirt and shit, and he's just like watching his next victim win the fight, presumably, because he is actually stepping in the ring soon against the Iranian Hulk. Yes, the Iranian Hulk, which we'll get into shortly. But Martyn Ford, you know, presumably being highlighted because he is, if, you know, Thor beats Eddie, which ended up happening, you could see that maybe this would be a good like other Clash of the Titans match that could be set up if Martyn beats Iranian Hulk, which I think most of us assume is going to be a complete debacle of a match and, you know, totally one-sided probably. At least that's what I speculate. So Martin's ready to go here, saying I definitely fucking knock him out. Can't even talk. Definitely fucking knock him out about Thor.
He used the jab a lot. He used his jab at the end a lot to stay off his hands. It was a safe fight from Thor in the sense that you could tell he knew what he was doing. He wasn't naive to it. Played it well. I'm just grateful for Eddie as a friend. But I tell you what, I'd definitely fucking knock him out.
You taking Hafthor?
Oh, man, I'll take Thor. 100%. 100%. In my eyes, technically good. He's been coached well.
Did you say you could knock him out? Is that what you said there?
This interviewer's fucking like not even paying attention. He said I'd knock him out like 20 seconds ago, and then he said like 5 other things, and then the interviewer's like,
What? What the fuck did you just did you say you knock him out? Like, can you repeat yourself? I literally was sleeping while I was holding the mic.
I take Thor. I 100% would take. I'm not going to knock him out, but I'd win. I want to back myself 100%. I'll tell you why, right?
good patience from this guy. I'd be like, are you even fucking listening to me, bro?
Fucking knock him out.
You taking Thor?
Oh, man, I take Thor. 100%. 100%. In my eyes, technically good. He's been coached well.
Did you say you could knock him out? Is that what you said there?
I take Thor.
Huh?
I 100% would take. I'm not going to knock him out, but I'd win. I want to back myself 100%. I'll tell you why, right? Been taught very well. Nice movement. Composed. But he's not fucking venomous, man. And I know you don't want to go in all there, but there's no snap in the punch. I fucking fancy my taste. I'd genuinely back myself.
Okay, so like if anyone seems like a good, like, I don't know, person to stack up against him from like a body type perspective, it seems like this would be the guy. Especially in the overlap there probably is of audiences and whatnot. Like it seems like a reasonable match to potentially set up next. Like I don't know how much hype Martyn Ford has behind him. Like I remember him from like the 5% nutrition days. He was like I think a rich piano company athlete and presumably does more like acting and stuff now, or I don't know, but he is like super tall, super huge, and you know, looks like he could be formidable to Thor, at least from a badass looking perspective and intimidation factor and whatnot. And for amateurs, it's like, who else are you going to put against Thor, you know? Like, it doesn't seem like there's another... I couldn't think of an opponent off the top of my head that would make more sense anyways in this niche. So, anyways, getting into the Iranian Hulk fight, I thought this was pretty fucking hilarious. It is the tail of the tape. Martyn Ford versus Sajjad Gharibi. If you don't know who this is, basically it's this guy who like probably has the most Photoshop pictures of all time on Instagram. I'm not really sure, but it's like, if you haven't seen this guy, like his shots are just absurd, dude. Like, the guy is huge by all means, but I mean like the shots he takes are so like odd. Like he makes himself look like he's 10 feet tall. And everything just looks so blurred and like fucking fake and fluffed up. It's just really, really odd. Like nothing about this is what he looks like really in real life. So we had them actually stand beside each other during their face-off, and it's kind of wild. But anyways, tail of the tape first. Age 39 versus 29. Martyn Ford's 287 at 6'9". Iranian Hulk is 390 pounds at 6'2". Nicknames that. Oh, this was like the funniest tale of the tape, dude. What are your nicknames? The Nightmare, the Iranian Hulk. How many Instagram followers? Yeah. Imagine like a UFC championship. They're like, he has 2 million Instagram followers. He has. Like, who the fuck cares, dude? 3.1 million Instagram followers versus 579. Oh, huge fucking advantage. You are definitely going to win because of that. Net worth comparison. 4.2 million apparently compared to 3.5 of Iranian Hulk. Who am I to say if that's legit or not? And then partner, it's like your fucking girlfriend. Then it's like, oh, you're single? Like, not applicable. Like, just like a weird tale of the tape. Really, really odd. But anyways, they actually stand beside each other. And you would think, you know, if you don't know about the Photoshop and you see this guy, you're like, wow, this guy is going to be a wild sight to see in person. Like, he is probably going to be, I don't know, like make Martyn not look so intimidating at the end of the day. Like, look at this shit. You know? Who would you rather get, you know, have to face in the ring? You know, this guy is like a fucking cloud that will like literally absorb you, bro. But anyways, now we get, this is the face-off, and you can just see how this is gonna unfold by the way this unfolds. Okay, like that was literally a redundant fucking word, but you'll see what I mean. Biggest imaginary lat syndrome I've ever seen. The delusion here, I'm already not confident. Like, if you have to stare a guy down and do the most like obnoxiously absurd imaginary lat syndrome flex, like how can anyone take you seriously? So he gets fucking tossed. I'm just realizing that this song might get copyrighted. So anyways, we keep going. And, you know, he looks pretty shook, to be honest, at least to me. He's like, I don't know what he's saying, but they get back and then stare each other down again after he just gets rocked, essentially. And he's like, I've got to redeem myself. I need to do something as dramatic as what he just did because I look like a bitch right now. So what he does is, while Martyn's standing there, he goes and he shoots for a fucking double leg, bro. Like, he's thinking about it. He's literally thinking about it. Like, the lack of athleticism in this, like, rush to fucking take him down. And then he gets tossed. Like, while he's off balance, he still manages to somehow get, you know, like, cast aside like nothingness, essentially. And it just doesn't really, you know, hype up the fight. If anything, it just makes me think that there's going to be like a complete lack of any sort of athleticism occurring from this Iranian Hulk guy. And if you see his training footage, it's like comical how like it almost seems like he is doing it as a joke, to be honest, with how bad some of the shit is. So anyways, that was, to me, I was like, damn, that's not going to be, you know, that entertaining of a fight. Or maybe it will be. Maybe Martyn will just fucking devastate him so badly that it'll be, I don't know, it's interesting to watch still. But at the end of the day, I think he's going to beat him. And then, you know, the step after that is going to be challenging Thor for the, I guess not a title or anything, but just, you know, the next, who's the most badass in the, you know, fitness industry, I guess, for, I don't know, like pay-per-view revenue. Like, I don't even know like how this shit is working, to be honest, because as far as I heard, this was like streamed for free too. So I'm not sure if they're just making, you know, ad revenue dollars from, you know, sponsors and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I think that is the logical next step as far as like who might make sense to face Thor. I'm not really sure who else would make sense in that context. The guy is like, you know, a fucking skyscraper and weighs like, I don't know, 350 pounds or something. So I don't know, we'll see. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that would be a good matchup? What do you think about the Eddie versus Thor fight and this whole, I don't know, boxing thing unfolding? It seems like everyone's getting in the ring now, and it's just, I don't know, interesting to see like random characters just get pitted against each other. It's like fucking Super Smash Bros. Melee or something. I'm just seeing like the most random characters from all the different games just like coming together and facing each other, and it's just odd. But it's entertaining at the same time. So anyways, all the comments, I'll be algorithm, much appreciated. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplates.com, follow me on Instagram, @moreplates, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. My preventative medicine and hormone replacement therapy platform. Get connected with high quality medical providers who understand the most cutting edge diagnostics and interpretation of those metrics in order to impart information on you that will help you make a more informed decision about optimizing your health, quality of life, performance, etc., whilst being mindful of the fact that it is not all about pharmacology. A lot of clinics will just haphazardly throw you on a predetermined dose of TRT, HCG, and anastrozole. We do not do that. Oftentimes we look to natural interventions, supplementation, dietary manipulation, sleep hygiene, before looking to, you know, permanency of pharmacology that you simply probably shouldn't be coming off. Like, some of these things are lifelong treatments and should not be taken lightly. So we are considerate of that, and we look at all options, and we pride ourselves in actual education of patients rather than just, you know, telling them like, here's your shit, like this is what you need. Like actually breaking down the blood work and explaining the, you know, what reference ranges mean, like where you land, how the context of what means what on our diagnostics, as well as getting into more cutting edge biomarkers too that are more indicative of cardiovascular disease risk, cancerous, you know, predetermining factors, a lot of things that are just simply not part of the norm when it comes to diagnostics and screening nowadays that we are trying to stay at the forefront of. So you can check it out if you want a high quality medical provider or just high quality self-service labs at a cost efficient price point. As well, Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode, pre-workout formulas, and design myself from scratch, recommended diet model for getting muscle and sports performance, whilst being mindful of micronutrient intake and anything else I'm associated with. It's all in the video description below. Talk to you guys soon.